Theatrical Shenanigans with
AJ Deane.
Hello there, and welcome back to another series here on Theatrical Shenanigans with, as always, me, your host, Rachel Feeney Williams. Over the next 10 episodes, we'll have 10 more plays for you to hear written by playwrights from all over the world, as well as 10 fabulous guests to discuss them with. So let's not waste any time and meet our very first guest of 2025. My guest today hails from the Norfolk-Suffolk border of the UK and comes with a multitude of titles including actor, writer and theatre maker. He appeared on Theatrical Shenanigans first as a panellist back in May 2024 before going on to appear as a voice actor in our Law & Order series and Christmas special, and he still has many more appearances to come. He is the fabulous AJ Deane. Welcome back, AJ.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. First episode of the series, we're starting strong. So, as with all my guests, I start with the question, what got you started in the world of theatre?
Well, my parents were both English and drama teachers, both of them. So I started from a very young age. If you include that, my mum was pregnant with me, so that was my first time on stage. If you don't include that, the first one that I am aware of, I played a slug age 2, and
Like,
I've been typecast ever since.
oh, it's basically like destiny then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm blazing a trail like a slug.
And you were obviously a published author in the world of poetry and prose. What made you decide that was an avenue you wanted to explore?
But I've always written poetry, like well, I say always, like from when I was a young teen,
Mm.
which I suppose that's what kind of when a lot of poets start, and it was mostly angst-ridden, terrible stuff, which I think everybody has to go through. And I basically I've always had a love for like geeky culture, sci-fi, fantasy, and all that kind of stuff. And over the last year or so, pretty much since Inktober last year, I started writing a kind of epic poem in a sort of fantasy style, which has obviously been done before
Mm.
by many different people at many different times, going back to oral storytelling.
Mm.
Um, so pre-writing. But obviously, sci-fi is a sort of a relatively new thing compared to humanity. Um, so I started getting into writing sci-fi poetry. I was going around asking libraries and bookshops, where do you have any sci-fi poetry? And
Mm.
getting like this kind of, ah, no, I don't think we do. Um, so I basically I went on a kind of odyssey over the last year or so of looking for my tribe. There is actually a group called the Science Fiction Poetry Association, and they're based in America. And there are some books out there, obviously not a lot. So I've had to sort of blaze my own path while I was looking for those. And it's just interesting because it's a sci-fi has always been a kind of a way to explore philosophy, humanity, politics, and all sorts of stuff without necessarily making it dry or heavy or overly literary or whatever. It's just an accessible way.
Mm.
So I wondered how much I could marry poetry up with that. So that's basically what I've been doing for the last year. Um, just kind of seeing what I can do and seeing how well the two sort of mesh together. Um, and so yeah, I just kind of I went down this route. It's a as if poetry isn't niche enough. Sci-fi and fantasy poetry is what I will do.
Yeah.
Um, so I've found it a very interesting process, and it's sort of pushed me away from being too rigid with form and things. So it's been quite an interesting thing to do. But um, I've got a head full of ideas, and I thought I've got to get some of the stuff out because otherwise I get all clogged up. So I just started jotting them down every now and again, and rather than going through potentially the months or years of work of writing a novel, which I've got two or three on the go, and they've all stalled. Um, so it's just an easy way of like going, that's a great idea. I'm going to do this in microcosm in a poem. And then it's done and dusted, and I don't need to worry about it, and it's out of my brain, and I can move on to other stuff.
But then obviously as a performer, you also span the multiple mediums of theatre and screen and then also voice acting. Do you have a preferred medium or is it just a case of whatever falls into your lap, really?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, as an actor, whatever comes my way is always going to be very good.
That is very
Um,
fair.
but I mean, out of preference, I suppose I love voice work
Mm,
because you know it's I get a chance to do roles that I wouldn't necessarily be able to play,
mm,
on film or stage or whatever, because it doesn't matter how you look. They're
yeah,
going to make me look however they want. So
mm,
long as my voice can match their look, great.
yeah,
So it can keep it really interesting, especially things like, I find computer games really fun and animations and things like that. That's always quite good. Um, but I love the immediacy of theatre. Like, you're there, you can get the audience response. You know if it's going well or not straight away. Like you don't have to wait 6 months of post production before a film comes out or whatever.
yeah,
Um, so I do love stage. That's where obviously it all started for me. Um, but I suppose that's part of the reason why I'm so almost sort of scattergun in my approach and the work that I take on is because I love it all for different reasons.
yeah.
I love singing. In the summer, I did an operatic Richard III,
Oh
um,
wow.
and that was really interesting and great fun and a challenge. Um, so it really just depends. I'd rather just leave that door wide open, and as much as possible, if somebody says, "Would you be interested in doing this?" Just go, "Yeah, right,"
Yeah,
and just to see where it takes me, because you never know.
yeah, definitely. But on the production side of it, you're also a co-founder of a theatre company. How did that kind of fall into your vision?
Oh, well, it basically, I'd been thinking about it for a while, and I got together with my now wife, but my then girlfriend at the time, Jackie Carrera, a great writer, name check. Um, and we both got very tired of applying or auditioning or submitting work or whatever, and being reliant on other people's say so as to whether it was air quotes good enough or whatever, whether it met certain criteria.
Mm,
um so we thought, well, sod it, we're an actor and a writer, and I've got a bit of background in production and direction. So we're like, well, should we just do it ourselves? Is that doable? Can we do that? So we started. The first play we did was called Talking in the Library, written by Jackie, and it's basically like a very poignant drama, like comedy drama, really, about literacy and life, and it's all set in a library, and about all the sort of the different sorts of people you meet in a library, because it's very
mm,
sort of cross class and very diverse. Um, and of course, you don't have to be quiet in libraries anymore and things like that. So it was a really sort of interesting platform, and we put it on. We technically we had a budget of zero, so we put it on for 40 quid, and we put it on for free venue hire essentially. We went into a pub in Bury called Oaks Farm, which is still there. It's not owned by the same people, it's still there. And we said, "What's your quietest night?" We've got a room upstairs. It's tiny. It sat about 25 people or something. I think we fitted 30 in. Um, and we said, "What's your quietest night? Can we use the space?" And they said, "Oh, well, there's a 40 quid deposit unless you spend that over the bar." And we were like, "Well, the cast will spend that."
mm,
There's only four of us, but sure, we're going to have a few drinks afterwards. So, I think we'll be all right. So it was like a Monday or a Tuesday night in above a pub in Bury St Edmunds. Everything 40 quid for us all in terms of our budget.
mm,
And the pub was very happy. We packed the place out.
mm,
And that's kind of how we started. So we wanted to we sort of had this vision of making theatre, making sure it's accessible. So we kept ticket prices down.
mm,
Um, you go into places where perhaps people don't see theatre very much. So pubs,
mm,
cafes, people's gardens, just all sorts of random places where you reach perhaps people who think theatre's not for me, it's all posh,
mm. Yeah.
or whatever. So you kind of you take the theatre to the people. So that's basically what we've been doing. It's all been on a bit of a hiatus, unfortunately, since all the lockdowns and the
Mm,
pandemic. We squeezed a couple of different productions out in between, lockdowns. But it's just been tough getting the ball rolling. I've had to concentrate. We've both had to concentrate on getting our own careers back up and running
Yeah.
before we can concentrate on anything further to do with Workhouse, unfortunately. But we're hoping to do more with it again soon.
Okay, final question. You have a standout moment, and by that I mean something where you've kind of stood there and thought, yes, this is why I do this.
Oh, I mean, there's lots really. Like there are some days are just hard slogs. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there are a lot of days where you finish a piece of writing, or you finish your seventh take of a scene, doing some filming, or seven if you're lucky. I mean, imagine but you finish like your multiple take of a scene, or you come off stage and you've just had like a standing ovation or something, and they're obviously their stand-up moments. You know, but I had one yesterday while I was doing some filming in the woods. It sounds terrible. Hang on. No, I was playing a soldier, and we were running through the woods, doing some fighting and all the rest of it. At one point, I was like negotiating, the release of some hostages or whatever. And afterwards, the person playing, like one of the people playing opposite me, said, "You're very generous as an actor. Like you could have just sat on your laurels when they were shooting me, because you weren't on camera,
Yeah.
and they already had your dialogue for your bits,
Mm.
so you could have just sat on your laurels and just sort of not bothered with how you were delivering it, but you gave it the same every time, and that's very giving, that's generous as an actor. And times like that when you think, I did good work today, the accolades really, it's nice and everything, but they don't last. But when a fellow actor who you have respect for turns around and says, yeah, thank you for that, you did good, yeah, those are the bits that I find, yeah, I'm happy with my work today.
So now we move on to our very first play for this season. The play is entitled Death Owns an Ice Cream Parlour and was written by writing duo Maeve Aurora Chapman and Liam Corley. Aurora has multiple credits as a writer in both theatre and film. She's also the founder and artistic director of the Dion Collective and an associate member of the Stage Directors and Choreographers Union and the Dramatists Guild. On the other side of the duo, Liam Corley typically works as a lighting designer and his work has been seen in multiple theatres, but this is his very first play. When talking about the play, Maeve says, Liam and I wrote Death Owns an Ice Cream Parlour because we wanted to bring some light and levity to what is usually a heavy topic. There's so much tragedy and pain in the world today, but we wanted to inject a little bit of hope and recolour the inevitability of death in a kinder and lighter hue. Theatrical Shenanigans presents Death Owns an Ice Cream Parlour by Maeve Aurora Chapman and Liam Patrick Corley.
Are you open? Don't want to interrupt your game.
24/7, 365 days. Approximately 992,812 days now. But who's counting? Yes, we're open, and it's Pokemon.
Great. Thanks. Just gonna dry off a little. I'm supposed to be meeting my friends, but I can't seem to find the place, and this car almost... Sorry. You don't care about... Sorry.
Not particularly, but it says in the job description, so whatever you have to say, now is your chance.
I mean, this car came out of nowhere, and I felt the heat of the engine. It was that close, and I didn't even want to go out tonight, really. But it's Tam's birthday, and if I didn't go out, it would be a whole thing, so...
Is that all?
Right.
Okay, then. Welcome, recently deceased. I understand it can be upsetting, but rest assured you are in the best hands. Your fate will not be determined here. That's not my job. Since your death has been ruled untimely, you will receive a ticket number for the haunting lottery. In the meantime, please listen closely to the next steps. Please proceed to the portal. There you will find the ferryman waiting to escort you across the Archeron and the Styx. Yes, there are 2 rivers. Fascinating. If you wish to file a complaint, you may do so in our suggestion box. Good luck. Sorry for your loss of life. There.
What?
Come here, please.
You want me to walk into your freezer?
It's a portal to the underworld.
In your freezer.
It's not my freezer.
Oh, and you want me to go in there?
It shouldn't do that for you, probably. It doesn't like it when immortals try to pass through.
So you've tried?
After you.
I'm not dead.
That's what they all say.
No, really. I'm not dead.
How close was that car again?
I'm not. Okay.
It's not supposed to do that. Great. Now I have to call IT.
What should I do? Is this... This isn't a joke, is it? It doesn't feel like one.
Feels like one to me. Listen, don't take it personally. It'll be fixed in...
Can I go then?
I'm not sure. I think not.
Maybe I'm not
Dead?
that. I couldn't go through your portal thing, right? So then I'm not...
No one walks in here alive. No one even sees this place if you can breathe. You're dead. Sorry.
But I was just going to a birthday party.
Yes, well, I'm rather inconvenient.
There was a door here.
I told you, dead. Can't leave without my permission. And if you break my window, you'll just be cold and I'll be even more annoyed. That vinyl lettering was expensive.
I have a cat, you know. Calico. Very sweet. She'll miss breakfast if I... More of a dog person?
Oh, no. I love cats, but one missed meal isn't going to tip the scales, metaphorically speaking.
I live alone. I don't know if anyone will think to check on her. My store. I finally got it open. I'm not closing it already.
Was your business as booming as mine?
It was getting there. Gradually. It's hard when... I don't know.
I'm sure it would have taken off.
That's really nice from the guy who's trying to kill me.
I'm not trying to kill you. I don't kill. I escort.
Right. It was the car.
Clean hit, I'm afraid. One and done.
Lovely. Thanks.
What's your business that you just opened? Do you want any ice cream while you wait? Do you want to punch me in the face?
Excuse me?
It's not uncommon given my line of work, and I can't really feel physical pain, so it wouldn't... You can if you want to, if it'll make you feel better.
Of course it wouldn't. It's not your fault that I don't want to punch you in the face.
Really?
You've only been kind to me.
I guess.
Why an ice cream parlor?
It came that way.
The portal to the underworld just appeared as an ice cream parlor?
Pluto's Gate Creamery, at your service. Make sure to leave a good review.
What?
Go.
Thank you.
Welcome to Pluto's Gate Creamery. One scoop before you depart. No, I don't have any sprinkles. It's self-serve. 5 minutes for any last words. The ice cream and the words. Let me know when you're ready.
You added strawberry.
No one ever wanted vanilla.
I don't mind it. You don't look a day over ancient, but I suppose 20 years isn't that much to death, is it?
You'd be surprised. Fancy seeing you here.
Yes, I wondered whether I could find this place again.
But you did.
I did.
Can I help you?
I didn't want to come here.
Well, I certainly didn't ask you to.
Because I don't know whether I'll be able to walk out again. Seems like something that's a one-time thing. Cheating death.
You didn't cheat on me. I let you go.
Oh, well, that's good. For me, I think. Anyway, I didn't want to come here, but I had to because I'm 45.
Happy birthday.
No, it's not. Look at me. I don't look a day over 25. What did you do to me?
Are you really complaining? Do you know how many mortals would kill for what you have?
I imagine it gets lonely.
Not always.
Why did you even let me go?
The portal wasn't working and no one else gave a shit, so I was hoping the matter would just simply resolve itself.
How responsible.
My job's just to show you the door. They won't even let me touch it, Union, and I hadn't heard from you, so...
What? Did you think I was gonna write?
I assumed I'd never see you again.
I need you to take my immortality away, but I don't want to die. Not right now, at least. So if you could just be careful, I'd really appreciate it.
No.
What? I'm trying to fix your mistake.
I can't, or I won't. Either way, it's not happening.
It's not that I'm suicidal or anything. I can't outlive everyone. I can't be alone.
You're welcome to stop in sometime. We have 2 flavors now.
Fix me.
No.
Why? I bet you can't do it. You're just the escort.
You can't goad me into taking away your immortality.
Why not? Shouldn't you care? Shouldn't you care that I've untipped the scales, ruptured the natural order of things, displaced the balance of the universe?
No.
You don't care.
I don't care. You're right. I don't care about one life when I've reaped billions. Why should I care about one stupid girl who runs a stupid shop filled with wooden turtles? I don't care that everyone you love will crumble into the hands of time and you will be insufferably and unendingly alone. I don't care. I really don't.
You looked up my shop.
Get out or I'll drag you to the river Styx myself.
I'll see you later.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We come to you with breaking news. Right now, at the very top of the Empire State Building stands a girl. Our sources tell us she does not appear to be afraid, though she may be suffering from some type of psychotic break. She's wearing what appears to be a stunt costume, complete with mask and cape. This is... yes, we have confirmation. This appears to be another sighting of the girl.
Oh, no.
Hey,
Hey?
I don't know why you look like that. You summoned me.
You look ridiculous, and I summoned you because you're acting like a toddler.
So you just had to visit my dreams every night for a week.
I wanted to make sure you got the message.
Oh, I got it, Nightmare Boy.
I will never understand mortals. You've been given immortality.
I think it's more collateral damage.
Instead of lying low, moving to another country or whatever it is that mortals do in movies, you become a daredevil.
It got your attention, didn't it?
Oh, you already had my attention.
And I didn't. What?
You're trying to force my hand when I haven't even got a deck. Did you know I've never even killed someone? Ever?
But your death, you're it.
No, I am not it. I am a lobby boy.
Technically, I think you're a reaper. You reap.
I escort, and you're missing the point. The only thing you are going to do is make the higher-ups mad.
You mean they haven't noticed yet? I mean, a mortal accidentally gets immortality. That seems like something they'd notice.
There are literally billions of you. Don't think you're so special.
Why haven't you told them?
They're busy.
You don't want them to notice me because then they'll know you fucked up.
I didn't fuck up. I simply accidentally found a glitch in the system.
Which you did nothing to fix.
I let you go. Did you want to die?
I didn't.
Do you?
Well, eventually, Yes?
You mortals, always so entitled. No one gets to choose when or how.
Whatever. You're just scared of getting fired.
Fired? Do you know where that term comes from? Being fired? It literally means fired. As in, I lose this job, the reason I was created, and I will be plunged into the Phlegathon, the literal river of fire.
I'm sorry. I just didn't want to be alone.
If I could fix you, I would.
I guess it's the thought that counts?
You could stop by more, if you wanted to.
Only if you get more flavors. This is a psychotic selection.
People like peppermint stick?
Yeah, but over chocolate? I don't think so. And what about vegans? They don't get anything?
No one's vegan in the afterlife. No one's even lactose intolerant.
Well, there's one thing to look forward to, at least.
So, chocolate then. That would be your pick?
With fudge bits in it. Yes.
Picky.
You're the one dying to hang out with me.
Hilarious. And if I'm not mistaken, you literally dove off a building to get my attention.
I also want sprinkles. Rainbow.
I'll consider it.
Hi. You said to come by sometime, so is this sometime okay?
Yes, it is. I don't have an appointment till 5:30.
I figured you'd be busier.
Plenty busy. I'm death.
People die every second. Thousands of people probably die every second. But you don't do anything.
I like to keep my schedule nice and spread out. Time doesn't really apply to this place the way it does out there. I can take people from wherever, whenever I want. Mostly there are other departments with their own schedules and backlogs. The whole thing is very bureaucratic.
So, you're Doctor Who.
Dear gods, I will never escape that show. It never ends, ever.
I like it.
Tennant or Smith?
Sorry?
Never mind, you'll see. Anyway, in a sense, yes, like Doctor Who.
You must have had a lot of companions.
I don't usually talk much with the people that come through here. I don't really know what goes on out there. Anyway, all I get are little glimpses, but it's all out of order.
Tell me.
What?
Do all dogs go to heaven?
Yes.
Good. Anyway, I'm, here because you asked me to be. Not because you asked me to. I was in the neighborhood.
So what exactly do we do?
You're the one who doomed me to eternal loneliness, so I guess hanging out's a good place to start.
Sure. And how does one hang out?
Like this. Come here. Sit. Now we have a conversation.
Okay, about what?
Whatever. For example, what is that little box you're always looking at?
Oh, this? It's called a Nintendo DS. It's like playing Pac-Man or Frogger, but instead of being at the arcade, it's in your hand.
I've never seen them before.
You won't. Not until 04. 2004.
Where'd you get it?
Sometimes people leave things here.
Maybe you could show me how to play. So, how do you play this stupid game anyway? Let's dance. Well, come on then.
Oh, no. I don't dance.
You do now.
No, okay.
See? Not so bad.
I suppose not. Where are you? What are you doing behind there?
Just enhancing your store.
Enhancing? No.
It's just chocolate. What kind of ice cream parlor doesn't have chocolate?
This one. Now, give me that. Real mature. Give me that.
I think not.
Come here, please.
A dance? From you?
Don't get too excited. I have something for you.
Oh?
About time chocolate was on the menu, I suppose.
Oh, I love it.
Shit, shoot. Lost track of time. Just, pretend that you work here. Shouldn't take long.
What are you doing?
Escorting.
How old was he?
8. Just wanted to get his brother's ball back. Classic.
God, his poor parents. They won't. Fuck. That's so unfair.
I understand. You're free to leave whenever you'd like.
What?
This is the job. People come, and then they leave.
He somehow left here with a smile on his face. Not a big one, but for just getting hit by a car, not bad.
So?
You helped him. You're just an escort. You said it yourself. You help people cross and offer ice cream.
Lucky I had chocolate.
Lucky you did.
So this doesn't scare you?
No. When people have to meet you like I have, they aren't alone.
Do you know why I designed it this way, the shop?
You told me it came this way.
One time I got to go out in the world, it was summer. A hot one. Scorching. And I was strolling along the seaside in Italy in a little town that's probably lost to the sea now, and there was this ice cream parlor. Might have been the first one to exist, but don't quote me on that. The line was out the door, and since I wasn't in a rush, I stood and waited until I finally got inside the shop. And there was this cute, detailed, cluttered little thing. So many people were crammed in there, just enjoying their ice cream. It felt like a place that people remembered, and remembered fondly.
I think it's beautiful.
There's something I need to tell you before. Something that I should have told you.
Hell of a moment to bring it up.
Dramatic flair and all that.
Your voicemail again? God damn it. Death, you called me. Oy vey. Well, anyway, we fixed your little portal problem. It's a problem with the sensors. Just type in code, let me see here. 662, and your mortal girl should be able to pass through no problem. Let me know if it works. Or don't. I don't really care.
When?
In Earth time, I'd say the 70s.
That's almost 20 years ago.
Is it? Really? Huh. Well, mortals have always been funny with their time. If you want to leave the other way, I'm sorry. I am tremendously sorry, but it would be a lie to say I regret it. That I would do anything different. A better person would, but I'm not good. I'm not even a person. I just knew I couldn't let you go.
Do you know what it's like over there?
I'm sure it's lovely.
But you'll never be able to cross.
Yeah, I'd say see you soon, but it's okay. Go. Go on. I'm sure there's lots of people waiting for you. Never be alone again.
I wasn't. I won't be.
It's been a lot less lonely with you around. What?
You hiring?
Looking good?
No one says that anymore.
Right. It's what's cooking good looking.
Don't embarrass yourself. Anyway, got everything you need? Money, keys, phone.
I'll be fine. Thanks for letting me take the first outside world shift.
Can't have death without life.
Or life without death.
See you soon.
About 50 years or so.
Stop by sometime.
Dinner tonight.
Deal. Now go. Live.
I never thought I'd say this, but Death had a wonderful character arc. That was Brian Cern as Death, Dana Hall as Girl, and Joe Swenson as Fred from IT, with Death Owns an Ice Cream Parlor by Maeve Aurora Chapman and Liam Patrick Corley. So, AJ, after all those names, what do you think?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, you're always onto a winner with me with anything that anthropomorphizes death. I always love that. aka Pratchett, or anything. I love that. You know, it's basically making something human of something which we see as totally inhumane, but is in fact just part of being human. So it's always a clever way, I think, of trying to change our relationship with death. We in the Western world, we're like, death is a taboo subject, or you can't talk about it. It's all, morbid, and all the rest of it. And actually, I think it's pretty healthy to do. It's going to happen to all of us. So you may as well have a chat about it and not necessarily feel that that's dark, or going down a bad path, or going to bring it on, or there's nothing superstitious about it. It just is. And as as the character says in the play themselves, I'm not good. I just kind of am. So yeah, I really like it. It's totally up my boulevard. So I'm really pleased to have been invited on to have a listen and a chat about it.
Yeah, as I said, with the it's rare to take a character like Death and not only, as you say, anthropomorphize them, but by the end you almost feel sorry for Death because he, as he says, he is kind of stuck until the end of time in this ice cream parlor, which I still find hilarious. Of all the shops in all the world,
yeah, exactly. Like why not a tailor's? Like
yeah,
why not a coffin shop? Or but no, it has to be an ice cream parlor. Brilliant.
But then, again, it goes back to that whole the stereotype of Death is it's dark, it's grey, it's black, it's dank, it's miserable, and yet when you imagine Death sitting in this ice cream parlor, you imagine almost wonderful red and white striped curtains or tablecloths, or even Death in a like wonderful red and white striped apron.
Yeah, like one of those hats that they had in the old films. So it was very precise in what it did, and actually a great vehicle for going. There's these flavors. They aren't the flavors you think they are. They're not the flavors you think they should be. But yeah, I did love the idea of him just going, well, what do you mean these are wrong? People like this. It's like, yeah, but you're not human. You don't understand. Where's the chocolate? I mean, come on.
But that was the other thing that for me tied into the evolution of Death's relationship with her was the fact that you start with, just vanilla or just strawberry, and then slowly evolves into more exotic flavors until he makes the ultimate kind of commitment to her and brings chocolate onto the menu.
Which he resists. He totally resists that as a way of keeping her distant, I suppose. So yeah, that is his walls have crumbled when that happens. That's it. That's the meeting finally of the two minds.
And I love the fact as well that you aren't only enticed by what you're hearing that's going on in the scene, but there's also bits that you don't see, but you are nevertheless intrigued by. I mean, I want to see the office of the guy who is Death's IT guy.
Yeah. Like, is that just like a standard office full of cubicles?
Yeah.
What are the other guys looking after? You know what I mean? Like, if that's his job,
yeah.
What's the job of the other people who work in that office?
It's got such a weird and wonderful array of emotions. You get to that kind of touching, wonderful, emotional moment between Death and her because they've been spending all this time together. They're like on the verge of that next step to their relationship, and then the door opens and another soul comes in, and the next thing you know, he's having this discussion about this poor 8-year-old boy who's died, and you just think, Jesus, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, which comes out of nowhere. But I mean, in some respects, because obviously you have that kind of that sweetness, and almost sort of obviously slightly kind of comedic as well, beginning to that scene with her being there and her and Death having a chat. I'll be back again. Obviously, that kind of then leaves you open to the more poignant bit. So you kind of you have that kind of sentimental release, and then you get hit with the poignancy because that kind of leaves you empty and open to then having that come in. And actually, it made it more powerful, which I always really appreciate in anything. Like You know, it was a nice balance because it would have been very easy to be like, this is dark, dark, dark. He's called the Grim Reaper for a
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, no, I thought it was brilliantly handled.
As well as like looking at the idea of death, you also look at the idea of immortality, because most people, if you said to someone, you know, would you want to live forever, they'd probably say yeah, to avoid the idea of death. But she goes through this phase of realizing she's immortal, being annoyed by it because she's having to face, you know, the idea of everyone she knows and loves growing old and dying, and then basically deciding to throw her toys out of a pram and go, well, stuff you, I'm going to make you pay attention to me.
Yeah. Which is, it's one of those things, as you say, I think almost anybody, if you ask them, they just go, yeah, of course I do. But also, I'm always interested in that kind of that fae stroke fairy dealing, where it's like you've got to be precise with what you say.
Yeah, and she almost goes through the stages of grief herself. So she tries to do the whole bargaining thing when she realizes she actually is dead. And then when she kind of is given this immortality, much to death's irritation, she goes through this sort of disbelief, the upset, and then just the anger of like, I'm going to hurl myself off buildings.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, if nothing else will work, I will do this.
Yeah.
And because she's immortal, then it doesn't really matter. She's just going to keep surviving it.
And I think it's then that she finally realizes, you know, she's not the only one alone for the rest of time, because death's already been alone for most of time already.
Literally forever.
And yeah, I think that's what it ties that wonderful story arc into a bow, when she comes into this, you know, not wanting to believe that she's dead, hating him, and then by the time you get round to the end, she rescues him from his own loneliness.
Absolutely. Yeah, because her understanding of his situation is more human.
Yeah.
And he's becoming more human, for want of a better word, through his relationship with her. And understanding that there is give and take, and actually there's joy and strength to be found in working with somebody else rather than just ushering the people through and not being affected by it, and not wanting to be affected by it. You know, he says it, you know, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yeah.
And his interest gets piqued, and that's it. You know, he suddenly starts becoming this really identifiable person.
That's the thing. I mean, as Death, he can't form attachments to people who come into his life because, you know, 99.9% of the time they come through, they walk into the freezer, and he never sees them again.
That's
Death
it.
doesn't have friends. Death doesn't have girlfriends. Death is just like you said. He's not good. He's not bad. He just is.
He just is, and he always will be, and he always has been, and that's all he's got to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know, and then suddenly this thing happens. It's like, well, actually, maybe there are some other options that I can actually partake in. You know.
One thing I love as well is not only does it create a wonderful story in itself, but it also leaves itself wide open to the sequel of Death going out into the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think by having her, you know, give Death this lifeline and say, you know what, you've done your shift. You go out into the world now and see what it's like, and actually know what humans are like. And it's so cute, which is like, have you got your keys? Have you got your money? Have you got your phone? It's like, imagine sending Death out into the world.
Yes, dear. But of course, he doesn't know, does he? Like, he doesn't know about that stuff. He's never really left the place. So, you know, she's doing a very good thing. And I suppose really he gifted her, even without meaning, he gifted her an extra 20 plus years, you know, which she just wouldn't have had otherwise. So, and a very interesting life, because I doubt she would have become a daredevil if she hadn't met him. So, yeah, I suppose she felt that she owed him as well, you know.
Yeah, I think for me, if this was a film with a tagline, it would be, he gave her life and then she gave it right back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, AJ, your final thoughts on the piece as a whole?
I really liked it. It's always interesting when you have people co-write stuff, because you always wonder how much has been brought by one and one by the other, and things like that. So I'd be interested in learning more about their work, seeing what else is out there by them, and they've just got a nice, interesting way of approaching stuff, which I'm always going to be interested in hearing more about.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. AJ, it's been absolutely fabulous having you and making this a cracking start to the series. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And that is it for this first episode of our 4th season on Theatrical Shenanigans. I hope you enjoyed the play and my chat with AJ. If you have enjoyed the show, as always, you can let us know by giving us a like, share, follow or comment on either our Facebook or Instagram pages. We'll be back in a fortnight with another brand new episode, but in the meantime though, I've been Rachel Feeney Williams, this is Theatrical Shenanigans, bringing down the curtain and saying I hope you can join us next time. Theatrical Shenanigans is part of an RFW Scripts production, found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts and Podbean. Theme music is written and produced by Chris Cody.